We got Phyllis Mazzito with us, Bill Waters, Perry Lefko, Tony Ambrosio, and Frank D'Angelo talking about Bill Blair, Chief of Toronto Police, who is being removed from his position, $370,000 severance.
But that's his salary, right? That's the deal. That's the deal they made. Why are they criticizing it now? Don't criticize. Don't criticize the chief. Criticize the people who made it. If now that they're bringing this,
and I think that's what Ford is doing, because he says he wasn't involved in that. So he's criticizing the people that gave him the severance as a way to look
to the job he's supposed to do. I've saved $1 billion. Why wouldn't he take a look at the salary of the chief of police, who basically reports to him?
But it was a signed, sealed contract.
He's been there for 10 years, long before Rob Ford.
Contract. Are you telling me that the mayor has no right to take a look at it?
I'm sure he can look at it, but I don't think he can do much about it.
Okay, that's not my point. My point is, I'm pretty sure the mayor knew what the chief of police was making.
Well, wait, guys, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Isn't the mayor his boss?
It is. He is. Technically, that's the way it works. You're correct. So, my point is, it's a political ploy now for him to bring this up.
Absolutely, it's a political ploy, because he wants those people that support him, those low-income earners, to say, there's our buddy Rob Ford fighting for the lowly taxpayer.
Yeah, but that's what he's doing. But
that's all it is. I don't think he really believes a word he's saying. Everything he says from now on is all to try to get reelected.
I want to know something. Get our producers doing it. What's the average pay for a chief of police in Canada? What's the average pay for a chief of police in the United States?
I would say 370 is not out of line. For a city the size of Toronto, it is not out of line.
No, I don't think it's out of line either, and I think shame on Rob Ford for using this as a political ploy to talk out of both sides of his mouth. First he's saying, I wish him nothing but the best, and then from the other side of his mouth he's saying, but he doesn't deserve that amount of money.
Yeah, well,
he didn't have any power.
Dealing with imbeciles.
Yeah.
Imbeciles.
I'm just saying that he got his way. In his mind, his nemesis is not being renewed, right? Mm-hmm. Got his way. Be smart.
Why is he being renewed?
Create dignity. You know what I mean? I'm sure Mr. Blair, and he asked. Mr. Blair wanted to be renewed. He wanted to stay on.
Yeah. But the services board, the police services board, said no.
They voted on it.
They voted, yeah.
Tony, maybe I'm stupid, and I don't understand. Why the fuck are they looking all over the world for another chief of police and not somebody who knows Toronto and familiar with Toronto?
They want the best person for the job, don't they?
And they probably have
somebody who lives in Toronto.
Well, not necessarily.
They probably have to advertise that they're looking for somebody, because at the end of the day, if they just choose his assistant, they can do that. But I think for purposes of talking about the job, it's like putting it up. It's a public job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to put it up there and say, who's qualified, but if you decide at the end of the day we're just going to choose his assistant, so be it.
Yeah, I believe London, Ontario at one point had Julian Fantino as the chief of police, and he wasn't a London guy.
No, he came from the Toronto force.
Exactly. Not that worked out all that well.
Yeah, they're talking about somebody from Hamilton possibly coming in there and being.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm saying they're talking about potentially one of the candidates coming from Hamilton. The candidate could come from anywhere. Yeah, it would be perfect if the guy's from Toronto because he knows the Toronto area. But at the end of the day, if he's qualified, he's qualified.
No, he's not. The way to be qualified is he needs to know what he's up against, and he needs the experience of Toronto and know the citizens of Toronto and know Toronto inside out. And I don't believe in that shit. I really don't. I think there's a lot of people who have dedicated their lives to law enforcement in Toronto or Ontario, right? Mm-hmm. And they should be the ones who should have a kick at the can of doing that job. So have we found out what the average pay is for a chief of police?
We're trying to find out right now.
But guys, a while back we were talking that Ford had no power left. They stripped him of his...
He has no power.
He has none.
But you can't shut him up.
True. And plus, Phil, he's going to run for mayor again.
I see.
Yeah. Blair made $367,000 in 2012.
What did you say?
Tony?
Blair made $367,000 in 2012.
So what's the average wage of a chief of police in a major city in New York? What's the chief of police? They're public figures, so their salary should be public knowledge.
Is he? I don't think he's pissed off with the salary. He's pissed off with the severance.
With $370,000.
He's just basically getting a year's.
Terry, that's the deal.
Yeah.
That's the fucking deal. When they made the deal with the guy, they said you're going to get 1 year of severance, which most big executives or people at that level of a job get.
That is true.
I mean, what the fuck? Like, hey, let the guy leave. Let the guy leave. Leave him dignity. You can't say on one side, listen, I wish him well. He's been a good chief of police. Wish him well. But I don't understand why they're giving him a severance package.
But Frank, it's all political. Everything he says is because he's, as Bill said, not the brightest puppy in the litter, but B, because he's trying to get reelected. So if he says that 370 is too much, his loyal Ford Nation supporters, the guys, he's fighting for my taxes, are going to love what he's saying.
Yeah,
that's why he says
you're
it.
Probably 100% correct there.
That's why he says it.
It's. I think it's shame on him, and again, and I don't think that Chief Blair said anything derogatory, anything disrespectful in any of his press conferences to the Fords, in my view.
Yeah, well, was there a reason given for the let?
Well, there is no reason. His term is up, and they're not going to renew. I mean, it's their prerogative, right? I mean, nobody knows if Ford went in there and gave everybody donuts and said, "Make sure you don't renew this guy's contract."
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knows that, and you know, they are autonomous of the mayor making that decision. It's the board is the board. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question because I'm ignorant. Is that board put together by the mayor?
No.
I don't think so.
How is that board put together? The police board.
It's by appointment, but it's not. It must be appointment by council, Frank, because it's not appointment by.
But doesn't the mayor engineer that group?
He couldn't engineer anything other than his.
No. Doesn't the mayor put together that panel or choose that panel?
No, sir.
No, it's a 7-member civilian body.
But who are the people that elect them or put them in that position?
I would say the union has something to say about it. I would say the police have something to say about it. I would say that council has something to say about it.
How? That would make no sense, Billy.
Well,
it would make seriously. Why would the police and the police union be a part of the process of isn't the whole reason of having the police board have total autonomy from everybody? But they're in my mind, you guys got to find this out on the net. There's got to be some connection with the mayor's office.
Well, the Police Services Act establishes that there's going to be 7 members on this board, and you can apply. You can get appointed to the board by the province, the City of Toronto.
When you say the province, you mean the government of Ontario.
Exactly. So you can get appointed to this Toronto Police Board by the province of Ontario, the City of Toronto. You can become the city mayor's designate, or you could be a city councillor on that board. So you've already been elected by people in your municipal region.
Well, there's a mayor designate.
There is one mayor designate on this board.
Then Ford's got a stiff on there.
Very possible.
Yes, he has to.
I would suspect you're right.
And there's also rumblings that behind the scenes.
Okay, but guys, let's go back because I just I'm Italian. I can't do 2 fucking things at once. I want to go by.
Frank, hang on a sec. Just before you go, our illustrious producers tell me that the LAPD commissioner made $340,000, New York made $200,000, and the Vancouver chief $300,000.
So it's up there, right? It's the same shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
New York only made $200,000.
That's what we have learned so far. I find that to be a bit low, but it is New York, and I don't know. But
you know why? I will have to take a look and double check that figure. But there's so many different groups in New York, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's different police associations.
There's the transit police. There's the metro police. So who knows? You know what the? We'll have to figure what that is. Let me ask you a question. Going back to what you said, Tony. So there is some mayor influence in putting some of the board members for the police board.
One, Frank. One.
So he can only put one person part of that seven-person team.
Out of 7 if in fact it comes to that.
That's how I understand it. Yes.
Yeah.
None of this.
Okay, so that answers that question.
And you can apply to be on the board, which I find interesting.
But none of this was even an issue before. It's an issue now because of two individuals who've got a conflict. Never was there a problem before with, the chief of police and the mayor. This is a unique situation. So why is Mayor Ford saying that? Because nothing like this has ever happened before and may never happen again.
Yeah.